Reinvention has got to be congruent. Here's the thing. Whatever you're saying you've got to be, or you want to be, people have to see you as that. You can see yourself as the sexiest person on the planet, but if you look like a potato, no. Everyone's just going to laugh and say, if that's the delusional side of you, then why should we buy from you? Similarly, when it comes to humor, I'm funny on this show, at least I hope I'm funny on this show, but at the same time, when I talk about stuff that's serious, I'm very serious on it. I add humor to entertain and engage. And that's why people stay with the show for like 40 minutes each time. But if I wasn't engaging, they'd just go away. But at the same time, I've got to prove that I am serious about the business of being serious, about the business of speaking and so on. So that's why humor's got to be used the right kind of way. You're used to me now, which is why you find the show engaging. But if I just came and said, hi, I'm davecrane, and didn't do any work at all, you'd say, why am I here? And I'd probably say, why am I here? So anyway, 10 things to consider when reinventing yourself. First question is this: who and what am I? What do people perceive me to be? Who do I think I am? If I was to have a superhero name, what would that superhero be? For me, I'm a virtual broadcaster, not a virtual speaker, not even a keynote speaker. I was in a conversation yesterday with a good friend of mine who turned around and said, Dave, you're a motivational speaker. I said, I'm not a motivational speaker, not anymore. I do speak and I'm motivational, but now I'm not in front of audiences. That is 5 to 6 months old. Nobody's speaking in front of live audiences, or if they are, they probably shouldn't be, unless it's socially distanced. What you should be doing is broadcasting online to thousands of people, building up your brand, creating relationships and monetizing your consultancy ability and your coaching and your mentoring ability. That's what a speaker is evolving into now. So you've got to really think about who am I, what am I, and what do people know me for? There's no point me turning around and saying, right, I'm a top motivational speaker, I've won awards, you know. Oh, and by the way, I can make you a cake. Would you like one of my cakes? We'll go, cheers, Dave. That's really good, but I don't think you're the king of cakes. I'm not the king of cakes. If I was a king of cakes, I would say, I'm the king of cakes. Look at me. I can make a bar of cake that looks a bit like a squeeze toy, like a gold bar, but actually, that's great cake. Still smells like cake though. Have you ever had something, do you remember when you were a kid? Probably not. I mean, for me it was harder because I was such a long time ago. But when in those days we didn't have laptops and we didn't use electronics at all, we just had pens and paper, and so you'd carry around like a book and you'd have pencil case and you'd like have your sharpener in it for the pencils. You'd never take a pen because you'd have to then rub it. You can't rub out a pen. We can now, but not really. And you'd have rubbers. Now when I say rubbers, I know some people go, he just said rubbers. Erasers. Not what you were thinking. I was a kid. Afro. And you used to get them that are fruit flavoured, and you collect them and some of them smell really nice. Do you remember that? And my point is, you'd get them and you get them like sweets, or you get them like fruit, or you get them like some kind of candy, and they'd smell amazing because they'd perfume them. And sometime in your life, you put one on your tongue or in your mouth to see if it would taste just like it smelled. Don't say you didn't. I know you did. I didn't. All right, so number 2 is what do people know me for? Number 3, what evidence is out there about you? What's the point in declaring yourself to be brilliant at something? I'm the cakey makey champion. If there's no evidence of you having made cakes, nobody's going to believe you. There are other people who are experts at cakes and other things, and so you need to make sure that you have the evidence out there, or don't declare yourself until you've got the evidence of it. You can grow into your brand, but start collecting stuff straight away. Testimonials, all that stuff. We'll do more on branding and more on social proof in a whole show in its own. Number 4, what are my values? We talked about values before. Who am I? What do I do? Why should you have that? Because if you don't have your values, you don't know if you're on track. You'll feel that your life is a little bit empty because you're not doing what you believe you should be doing with your life. And also, people won't know how to face you. I guarantee most of your friends have no idea about your values effectively, but they know what makes you tick. If you were to say, right, these are my values, they go, you know what, I was so wrong about that, I didn't realize that was you, but now I know, I'll alter the way that I work with you. And it really works. They could also leave you behind, so I never taught you again. Number 5, who am I declaring war on? This is a key point. This is where the money is. Who am I declaring war on? You've got to have an enemy. I know you're saying, but Dave, I don't want to fall out of anybody. Think about it. One of my heroes, Sir Ken Robinson, died about 2 weeks ago. And Sir Ken Robinson, you have to see his TED Talk, which is, I think, the most watched TED Talk of all time, where he basically says, he's an educator, he says the education system is rubbish, and it's been wrong for a long time, and nobody's going to admit it, but it's true, and it's badly flawed. And I found that at school so badly that I couldn't wait to not have to be in an establishment anymore. So I didn't leave school early, I went to university, but when I started working for organisations, I hated it, and I hated it all the way through school. And so I've declared war effectively on education by doing this show. And my career has always been about the fact that the things that you learn at school very rarely get you ready for a job. They get you good at getting grades at school, or bad at getting grades at school. And if your grades at school are bad, then you feel stupid and you feel unwanted and you feel unworthy, especially when you look around at other kids who are doing really, really well, who you know you're better than, but not better at that. You're better at them than other things, like maybe playing sports, or maybe getting on with people, or maybe playing games, or maybe designing games at home. But that schoolwork is really boring and doesn't interest you. Or maybe you got a different learning system. I was rubbish at science and quite a few other subjects. I came out of it with 10 O-levels. What is an O-level, Dave? Google it. Really old people have them. So, I realised later on that my ability to do the sciences would have been so much easier if it could have been taught in a visual way. I'm a visual person. So making me learn stuff parrot fashion and formulas that I didn't really get, but I would understand how they mix together, if that's what the system had been to learn it, would have made my life easier. So it cost me. It probably cost me my entire life, the sciences that could have contributed to me, because they would have led to computer programming. Now I know a lot about tech, now I know a lot about the computer IT world, but that's only because I had to reinvent, and then it started working for me. If I'd learned at school, it would have been so much easier. Now I'm sure my story is similar to yours. So I declare war on the established way that education is done, same as Sir Ken Robinson, and I do this show, and I work with my clients to help them reset themselves to who they truly need to be in life. Yeah? Well, in your world, there's something that you're not happy with. Declare war on it now. And then we'll help you to monetize it. Alright, number 6, what's a big problem you can fix? What is it you're going to fix? You declare war on an establishment, a big enemy. The bigger it is, the better. Because then people will go, yeah, I buy into that. That's a great idea. I really don't like it either. So, what is it that you're declaring war on? Then, of course, what's a big problem you're going to sort out? My big problem sorting out is the way that people can find the job that makes them happy, or the employment that makes them happy, because a job is not the way to do it. It's whatever pays your bills and keeps you occupied is kind of like a job, but if you can make it so it doesn't feel like going to work, then it's not a job, but it is you. Does that make sense? No. Yes. Think about it. If you choose what you really love and what you're really good at, and it makes you happy every day, and somebody pays you money to do that, will you feel like you've won the lottery? Yes, you will. Will you feel like you're going to do a job every day that you hate? No, you won't. That's my point. Thank you. All right, number 7. Who else is fighting this battle? For a lot of different reasons. First of all, can they partner with you? Can you learn from them? Have they left a roadmap in the road that you can follow? A trail of breadcrumbs that you can pick up and go, ooh, breadcrumbs. Mm-hmm. Unless you're wheat intolerant. In which case you go, ooh, gluten-free. I have to eat gluten-free bread, and it's like this. It's like, oh, we'd like some gluten-free bread. Yes, please. I'll just pay a lot of money, $50, for a loaf of bread about this size. I'll chop it up, get at least 5 slices for $50, and I'll eat a slice of toast. Really chewy. How chewy, Dave? Like chewy. If you make gluten-free products, then this is not necessarily about yours. Just the ones I've had so far. Quite a lot. Okay then, so who else is fighting the battle, and how can they help you, and what are they doing to improve theirs, and can you learn from them, or collaborate, or can you go as a pace setter, and keep watching and see what they're doing and moving on forward? Not necessarily copying, but the journey is a journey, and also the beautiful thing is, when you declare war on something, and you're moving forward, you can then create a tribe with your rivals in it. Because they're only business rivals in the fact you're competing on the same kind of market. But if you've got an abundance mindset that there's enough for everybody, they become your traveling partners, and they can throw work at you. You can throw work at them. You throw them over clients you don't want, but they can still. It works out. All right, number 8. What does the battlefield look like? Excuse me, I'll just drink some tea. If you've got a drink now, take one as well, because this one I'll take a little sip. Good tea. Number 8, what's the battlefield look like? Where are you fighting it? Where are you? What are you doing? What's the biggest problem that you've got to deal with? How long is it going to take to get there? The landscape could be incredible. It could be that you're going for a digital change and everything's up for grabs. Right now, broadcasting is. Right now, your ability to do a web TV show means that people go, ooh, shiny, let's have a look at that. Of course, they've got other options. They've got Netflix and we've got other web TV shows and so on, but it's still in its early days. And that's in my particular industry as a speaker. In your industry, it might be completely different. But if you start speaking and start creating a TV show all about what you do, cake making or gardening or making little booties for children, little baby booties for newborn babies. Don't ever do an advert and sound like that because it sounds ridiculous. Whatever you do, then that battleground, that battlefield that you're on, you might turn around and say, right, you know what? I'm making these little booties for small kids, but if I can personalize them by putting the child's name on, parents will pay because they make great photo opportunities. And if I can get a lot of parents to send me the photos of the kids wearing those booties, then that will be addiction. Not addiction. That'll be addictive for parents who look at the website who then want to see their kids wearing these special signature booties. So that'll help to drive my marketing. And if I can get the parents to give a testimonial while holding up the baby and get the baby to dance for me, and I get some music that all the babies are dancing to wearing those booties, that's an advert I can use. Can you see how this goes? Yes? And I'm only talking about babies' booties. And I'm not wearing any right now because it only fits on my probably my thumb. Okay, number 9, what's my vehicle look like? Not my cars outside. What I mean is, what do you look like in the way that you're going to get there? Are you driving a big vehicle, a small vehicle? Are you on foot? Are you coming up with great stuff for your website? Does your website look terrible? Is your social media really strong? Are you looking good yourself? Do you look like you make a lot of effort? Because I've not had a shave today. So, I do look okay. Yeah? Bit of a George Clooney look. Not George Clooney look. Morgan Freeman look. Not Morgan. Papa Smurf look. Right, okay, I've got my best Papa Smurf look on today. Thank you so much for contributing. It could have been worse. You could have said I look like that guy who was a pirate out of Peter Pan. Smee. Have a look at Smee. Yes, when you see him, he's Smee. Number 10, feedback loops and analytics. Data analytics is probably the most important currency you can get your hands on. It's worth more than gold because your ability to understand what's going on in the market is also a great job for you because people will pay for that. Your ability to interpret what's coming soon, what's been in the past, and how that affects everybody and make those roadmaps and predict it is very important. But more than anything, predict it for you. Your feedback, your understanding of how things should move forward are everything you need to be able to reinvent yourself and be effective about it. Otherwise, you reinvent yourself and you put it out there and hope that people see it, and ultimately all they're going to do is go, oh, okay, that was fascinating, cheers, bye, and they won't interact with you and you wish you hadn't done it. Hope those are useful for you. By the way, reinventing yourself is today's theme. I'm Dave Crane. Make sure you like everything. Make sure all those different things come up every time a thumb comes up or a clapping or a love heart or whatever it is, because that matters to me, and it also matters to the algorithms to let people know we should be watching more of this stuff. Next up, we talk about Industry Icon Program and also what's coming up next.